Hello everyone, I'm Holoshideim and this is Trigon Space Story. I'm an experienced faster-than-light player and a Trigon ambassador, a beta tester that provides gameplay feedback. The two games have a lot in common, but also quite a few differences that can make Trigon both a familiar and a refreshing experience. Even if you don't know these kind of games, the goal of this video is to explain as much as possible about Trigon. Let's get started. Trigon is a game about exploration and space battles, but more importantly, it's about managing your ship, its crew, and your resources. This is the Centennial Hawk, the first available ship in the game. It starts with 3 human crew members, a plasma weapon, and a missile launcher. From this tab, we can have an overview of the ship layout, all its systems, the starting level, and a short description of what they do. But let's get into the game. Let's take a closer look to the systems. This is the shield generator. It protects the hull of the ship against most weapons, and you can keep track of both values up here. The armory module lets you install a wide variety of weapons. For now, just those two. The hyperdrive provides evasion to the ship, but it requires a functioning bridge. The life support system generates oxygen and supplies for your crew. The medbay instead can heal injured crew members. The airlock systems allows you to remotely control all your doors. And then we have sensors that are granting vision to every room inside our ship, even if we have no crew in there. Other systems can be purchased and installed in your ship, and each one can be upgraded to increase its effectiveness or grant additional benefits. However, in order to upgrade your ship, you need resources called credits and scrap. Both of them are used to upgrade and repair the hull of the ship, but there are some differences. Scrap can be used anywhere, while the credits can be spent exclusively at the stations, identified by the symbol on your map. Also, credits are not limited to ship upgrades, and they can be used to acquire other resources, weapons, and even additional crew. The other two resources are the fuel and the supplies. The fuel is required to jump to a new location, while the supplies are consumed by the crew every in-game day. One day passes every time you jump to a new location, so usually both resources are consumed at the same time. Each race needs a different amount of supplies, and sustaining some of them can be quite challenging. This ship starts with 3 humans. Trigon has 4 different races, and humans can be considered fairly balanced, but let's take a look at their specialization. The first one is a pilot, so it's better suited to man the bridge of the ship. The second one is a hyperdrive operator, and it's already there. The third one, instead, it's an engineer. Engineers are faster at repairing damaged systems, but for now it can stay in the weapons module. It's quite valuable to man the system, as it will increase the fire rate of our weapons. As they level up, crew members will acquire perks and abilities. Some of them will be tied to their specializations, making them even more valuable if they are manning the respective system. As you might have noticed, your first crew member has a yellow star beside its portrait. That means he's the captain of your ship. Each crew member is very valuable, but your captain even more so. If your ship gets destroyed, or if your captain dies, the run is over. Now that we have all the basics, we can finally begin. In Trigon, your main goal is to follow a series of quests through a vast galaxy, but as you move from beacon to beacon, you will encounter many other events. Most events will have multiple options, and your decisions can lead to different rewards. You can acquire resources, additional weapons or crew, new quests, or even trigger a fight against an enemy ship. At the start of the combat, the game is automatically paused, and you can keep pausing and unpausing whenever you want using the spacebar. Pausing is a very powerful tool. It allows you to plan your moves, and every action that we will select while the game is paused will go through as soon as you unpause, like moving your crew or firing your weapons. You can use your weapons to target any room in the enemy ships, but you want to prioritize the most important systems. In almost every fight, you want to disable the enemy weapons as soon as you can, but targeting that system is not always the best approach. Missiles can pierce shields, so we can use our missile launcher to weaken their shield generator first, allowing our plasma weapon to deal more damage to their weapon module. Missiles can be very powerful, but they're consumed on use. You can find or buy more as you go on, but usually you don't want to rely exclusively on them. The best approach is to use missiles as a way to weaken enemy ships until you're relatively safe, then finish them off with your plasma weapon since it won't consume any ammo. During the fight, your systems can also be damaged. Repairing your weapon module is very important, and sending additional crew to assist with the repairs can be very helpful. However, mending systems is also beneficial. Keeping the pilot in the bridge is usually recommended. It keeps providing evasion to the ship and charges the hyperdrive in case we need to escape. For this reason, it's often better to delay the repairs of secondary systems until the fight is over. Destroying the ship, or killing their captain, is also how you end most fights against enemy ships. Sometimes, enemies might offer a surrender in exchange for a reward, but if you don't like it, you can deny it and kill them instead. As we keep exploring the sector, we'll collect more rewards through fights and events. Each sector has at least one station where we can spend our credits, but we want to collect as many as possible before going there. Usually you want to check every single station, but when to go it's a situational call. It will depend on how many credits we collected, if we already have more weapons, if we need additional systems, and if our ship sustains severe damage and it needs immediate repairs. In this case I need another weapon, so let's go there and take a look at the station. This is the trade tab, where you can buy anything that you normally keep in your cargo. Fuel and supplies, scrap, additional weapons, bombs and missiles, and so on. You can also sell everything that you don't need, which is quite important to make some space before continuing your journey. Since we need an additional weapon, the bomb teleporter is a nice purchase. It's a cheap support weapon that requires only one reactor, so we can easily play it despite having a low amount of credits. In the shipyard tab, you can upgrade and repair the ship using credits, and also buy additional systems. The stealth module is a powerful defensive system. It grants 100% evasion up to 10 seconds as long as we are not firing our weapons. However, it's quite expensive and usually we cannot afford it in the first sector. The teleporter allows you to board enemy ships with your crew. It's a strong offensive system, but it's more effective if you have many crew members and good weapons to support your boarders. The drone control system allows you to deploy offensive or defensive drones. It's a cheap system, but it doesn't come with any drone, so we have to find or bind them first. With the cryo chamber, we can hibernate our own crew to reduce the consumption of supplies, or we can use it to capture prisoners. In the bar tab instead, we can recruit additional crew or even give up our prisoners. Each crew has its own race and specialization, and certain combinations, especially with the right perks, can be quite valuable. They're also very expensive, and they're usually not worth buying early in the run. Depending on the station, giving up prisoners can give us a good amount of credits, or it can reduce our bounty. That's right, in Trigon we are outlaws. Enemies called Venators are looking for us, and every time we jump to a new location our bounty will increase. Some events can decrease it, but overall the bounty will keep growing, and as it does, it will increase the likelihood of being ambushed by stronger and stronger Venator ships. The good news is that our bounty will reset whenever we jump into a new sector. From my experience, leaving the sector before reaching a level 5 bounty is usually ideal, but in the end it's a personal call. Judging the risk-reward is an aspect of the game. That said, leaving a sector is not that easy. The exit of each sector is guarded by stronger ships called gatekeepers, and we have to defeat them in order to jump to the next sector. As usual, we want to prioritize their weapons. And by doing so, we also avoided their borders since they went to repair the damaged system. Stronger ships will have higher level crew members and they have access to powerful abilities. In this case, their hyperdrive operator was increasing the evasion of the ship for a limited time, and now their shield operator is boosting their shields. Pushing through with our plasma weapon will be difficult, but we have a missile launcher and a bomb teleporter. Unfortunately, we can't do much about their missiles. We can use our own airlocks to deal with the occasional fires, and eventually we'll be able to neutralize all their weapons. In this fight, we want to kill the enemy crew through fires and suffocation, targeting their life support system and taking advantage of the rocket's low repairs. Unfortunately, we don't have a cryo chamber to capture the survivors, but it's not a big deal. The first gatekeepers are still easily manageable, but they will get progressively stronger. Gatekeepers are usually the reason why we don't want to rush through the sector. We want to explore as many beacons as possible to acquire more resources and upgrade our ship, but also making sure that we're keeping our bounty level in check. Trigon's story has 4 different chapters, and each one features a different race with its own starting ship. The first one is the human ship that I've shown so far. The second chapter features the Itari, an alien race with psychic abilities. They are more fragile than humans, but they can be quite deadly when dealing range damage to enemy crew. Their ship has a weaker hull, but starts with a stronger shield generator. It has a high damage plasma weapon and a bomb teleporter as a support. The starting bombs don't deal any hull damage, but they have a higher system damage in comparison to the basic missiles, making them particularly useful to neutralize enemy systems while your plasma weapon destroys the ship. The third chapter features the Raki, an alien race of powerful warriors. They're quite tough and they deal more damage in melee combat, but they require more supplies and they're very slow at repairing systems. Their ship has more hull, but it starts with a weak shield generator. With its 4 missile launchers, this ship has a very strong offense, and on top of that we also have a teleporter. Normally we want to destroy weaker ships with missiles and board a stronger ship with our crew after dealing some damage to their weapons, making sure that the ship is not a threat while the boarders are killing the enemy crew. The fourth and final chapters features the Trigon, an alien race of little robots. They are extremely fragile and they cannot attack, but they don't require any oxygen or supplies and they're very fast at repairing systems. Their ship starts with 2 plasma weapons that also deal EMP damage. EMP damage will temporarily disable a portion of the system, or even its entirety if it's strong enough. EMP damage is even more valuable in combination with offensive drones, which is your secondary offense with the ship. These are merely the starting setups for each ship. There are many different weapons and powerful combinations that you can try, and as you keep playing, you will unlock more weapons that will be available in your next runs. This is an EMP cannon, in combination with a wide laser that can set the entire enemy ship on fire. Plasma weapons that fire multiple shots in a selected area. And nukes. Outside of the story mode with its 4 different chapters, Trigon has additional game modes available to the player from the very start. The best way to learn the basics about the game is to play the in-game tutorial. It will explain all the basics about the ship, its crew, the interface and your first combat. With the free mode, we can select any of the ships that we have unlocked and a single crew member as our captain. We'll start at the station with a very high amount of credits, and instead of following a questline, our goal will be to defeat all the gatekeepers ships in the galaxy before reaching the final quest and collect our reward. And then there is the sandbox mode. In sandbox mode, we can select any ship that we have unlocked. We can add additional crew, select their race, their specialization, and even their perks. We can choose any unlocked weapon. Fully build the ship with all the systems that we want to start with and upgrade them as much as we want. Then fill our cargo with any amount of credits and resource. It can be a very fun mode, but also a way to test specific setups before trying them out in a normal run. There is a lot more to learn and discover about Trigon, but that's going to be all for this video. Check the links in the description to find the game in the Epic and the Steam store. Remember to subscribe to this channel for more videos and updates about Trigon, and you can find me at twitch.tv/Holoshideim.